watcher.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Table Talk. Welcome to Ignite Fire. My name's Jacob, and this is Jeff Sherrill.
I'm going to say this is Ignite Fire. This is Jeff Sherrill, your leadership coach and public speaker. Jacob Alvarado, what did we say?
Controversial,
unconventional, not your everyday.
slap your mama.
Yeah. With the biscuits and gravy.
Tell it like it is.
That's right. Tell it like it is.
Kind of preaching.
I'm not tell you what. If you have not seen this man speak, he's posted some of his recent sermons. Go watch him. He is fire.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, man, we just got blessed.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
And thank you guys for watching. This is live, and this is Ignite Fire. So we're going to go down the rabbit hole of Steven Wilson Jr., and people have really been enjoying Steven Wilson Jr.'s music.
You have found a gem, my friend.
And what's interesting is you said something right before we jumped on live, is you said you finally found your voice or your calling.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's interesting, I was listening to Steven Wilson Jr. live at the print shop, and he was a songwriter, and he didn't perform the songs or sing the songs. And like there was the song, I'm a Song, and he performed it live at the print shop. And when the guy was talking to him, he was sharing about his father, and he wrote this song, and his dad told him, he's like, that's my favorite song. Why don't you sing it? And he said, I don't do that. And it's interesting because now that his father's passed, he's like, I'm going to do that. And he started singing his own songs, and now he's blowing up.
Well, right. And so it's so funny. And how many of you guys have this in your life where, one, remember the movie Coyote Ugly?
Oh, yeah.
So the girl in there, like, oh, I can't sing. But then, like, she gets put into a situation where she has to sing. It's like, you know, the leap of faith.
Yeah.
And then everything changes. She, like, takes that leap and everything changes. But then, you know, and we were sharing earlier while Jacob made an amazing avocado egg breakfast with sourdough bread.
Yeah.
That there are things that people have shared with me, like, Jeff, you should do this, Jeff, you should do that, like a year ago. And I started doing it recently because it was like, it felt like it was time. But how many times are there things that people have shared with you or encourage you on that it was like a seed planted, but either you or life wasn't ready for it to sprout and germinate and to grow. But then the time comes and you're like, oh, this, and this. It's kind of like MacGyver, right? Like all of a sudden you start to see all the answers around you, and you put them and you take that leap of faith. And now you're ready to go, and you see that, and then of course it manifests or creates in front of you.
That's something that I've been stepping into recently, where I was trying to find my voice. I'm 39 years old,
really?
trying to find my voice. And when I get asked to speak somewhere, you know, I put all my lists together, I put all this teaching together, PowerPoints, like putting all this information together so I could share it. And I realized that's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not a teacher. I'm not. I get up and I just share with people from my heart things that have radically changed my life. And when I do that, that has been more effective than putting a 3-point PowerPoint, you know, sermon together and then coming out and trying to share that.
Wait, what's been more effective?
Just sharing from my heart.
Just getting out there and just letting it fly.
Getting out there, letting it fly, and saying, this is what... And you know what's crazy is because I don't have to think about that. I know what's radically changed my life. And so when I get up to share that, and I just share from a place of experience, I'm sharing with you exactly what happened to me, and this is what I did. That's more effective. And I think, you know, being part of men's groups, and I was part of Scott, I've been part of Scott's group, and this was something that I noticed in there, and I've noticed in other groups that have been very effective, is somebody will start sharing, well, most Christians and everyone struggles with this. And then the question comes, what about you? What do you struggle with? What are your challenges? Because we try to include everyone in this perspective instead of just saying, hey, I'm struggling with this. And I don't know about all of you. It seems like a lot of people struggle with this, but this is what I'm struggling with this.
Well, and it's how we view life through the movie projector in our mind. And we think everyone else is having the same experience.
Yeah.
But we're all looking at the same screen of life, but everyone in every seat is having a different experience.
Yeah.
And notice how, what I love what you said there, and I don't know who this is for, but once you got out of your own way and just let it flow, then the magic happens, right? The Holy Spirit is like, good, you've submitted. And watch this. You know what other famous speech is one that everyone knows? And the only reason that everyone knows it, and one of the most prophetic speeches, is because somebody told that speaker, tell him this, which wasn't on his script.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Do you know the answer?
No.
I have a dream.
Oh.
You can go watch this. The whole I have a dream speech. And there's this whole formal, Martin Luther King, Jacob Alvarado, y'all are great speakers, right?
Yeah.
And he got up there. He's a great speaker, no matter what. Hey, this guy's doing great. But at one point in time, one of his guys in the back says, tell him about the dream, Martin. And that's because Martin Luther King had talked about this dream he had, and his buddy's like, tell about, and everyone thinks the I have a dream speech is the whole speech. It's not. It's like that wasn't even part of the original speech. And he just let it fly. And history just changed. So step into it, my brother.
Step into it. And we're live. So if you have a comment, leave it in the comment section. We can see it right now.
We got 4 people watching. I know you got to switch to the comments.
Yeah, I got to turn the comments back on.
If we're going to turn the comments on, y'all got to comment.
Yeah.
So get in there.
So join us for a real talk reaction.
Where are you from? Have you heard of Stephen Wilson Jr. before? And if you're part of Stephen Wilson Jr.'s crew, please share this with them because we think he is amazing. And thank you, Jacob, for finding this gem. This guy's music is so real. It is right from the soul. So if you want real music, not just some produced pop junk or whatever they're throwing out there these days, if you want something that's real and that can really touch a place in your heart and your soul, Stephen Wilson Jr.'s got to unlock.
Now, I think that Stephen Wilson Jr., just like the title says, is really the future of country music. Now, I don't know if you guys saw.
It's controversial, Jacob.
But Beyonce just won country music.
I heard that.
Artist of the Year. That's like Jenner, Bruce Jenner, first
Woman of the Year or whatever it was.
Of a woman getting Woman of the Year. I don't know about you, but it don't make sense.
You know, when evil wants to deceive and they cross the line, you guys are screwing yourselves over. It's one thing to deceive and twist things, but it's another thing to just be blatantly lying.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe that Beyonce's a bad artist or singer.
Right. She has a gift that has unfortunately been, taken by the evil one. But I'm just saying.
But country, that's not her. Hey, I'm not saying, she needs to be blocked into a
genre.
A genre. Because that's what she was like, don't get blocked into a genre. But first year, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like the kind of music that would, because I've listened to some of her songs.
Oh, I had no clue until somebody mentioned it earlier this week, and I was like, what? And I kept moving on.
Didn't seem to me like real country.
Real country is a lot like what this man is singing. And would you call him country? Is that what they call him?
Country,
I feel like he's blues,
folk, kind of a mix.
But here's the thing, and I had this conversation. My brother-in-law is an amazing art. He's just naturally gifted. He can pick up a guitar and just play whatever. Yeah. And we had this conversation one night at his backyard over drinks. Good music is just good music no matter what. There's you can not be a fan of country or rap or something like that, and you can hear it and oh, that's pretty good. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is, and this is what Stephen Wilson Jr. produces. He just produces something great. Yeah.
Kind of like George Strait. I know I'm Mexican, but I love me some George Strait. That man's sexy. That man is sexy.
I'm waiting for you to get the country hat on.
I know. I didn't get the country hat, or the cowboy hat. Then because I don't want ICE knocking on my door, putting on my boots and the cowboy hat.
Anyways,
but
George Strait.
I went to one of his last concerts that he did, like two or three before his last one.
Mm-hmm.
It was phenomenal. And he played songs that were his number one hits from years ago. And the stadium's filled, people are stomping. All that to say, good music is good music.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what.
And this is some of it. So I'm excited. I haven't heard any of these songs yet. I kind of, they're like Christmas gifts, and I love opening them in the presents. So
yeah,
I come here to get my Steve Wilson Jr. on.
All right, we're gonna press play.
What are we listening to here?
This song.
Give me the setup. This is like Christmas morning. Like, all right, hey honey, I got this for you.
Yeah,
like, super special.
Okay, so this is Steven Wilson Jr. Billy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it says it's acoustic.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that means instrument.
I've only heard snippets of this song. I haven't heard the whole song.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to be listening to this one for the first time with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we're going to listen to Steven Wilson Jr.'s Grief is Only Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not heard that. So some songs that we've been playing on Steven Wilson Jr. has been stuff that I've heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And just want to play and listen with you guys that are watching.
They've been great.
But these two, yeah, a little different. Haven't heard them.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going
Billy.
We're going some different perspective, different edges of the,
Now when I hear Billy, whenever I hear the name Billy, it reminds me. Hold on, let me move this out the way. It reminds. I don't know if you guys remember. It's an older movie with Jim Carrey, and it's the cable guy, and he's in the jail, and he has that glass, and he pulls his nipple out, and he places on the glass, and he's like, Billy.
You're gonna have to edit that in when you go back through and just put that scene in.
Yeah, we'll put that scene in there.
And you make a short of that and put that out there.
That's what I think of when I hear Billy, but I'm sure that has nothing to do with this.
I think there's a song out there, and I don't know if it's like, I feel like it's like James Dean or Billy. I don't know. Anyways, there's a song that it'll come to my mind when I hear this. It keeps running through my head every time we talk about this.
Okay.
All right.
Well, guys, get ready. Let's press play. Steven Wilson Jr. Billy Acoustics.
Let's go.
Like Charlie Daniels, my throat's a little devil tumble a bit. I'm the baddest tumble a bit that ever lived. Yeah, I can sing pretty good sometimes.
I believe it.
Yeah.
First off, we have to stop it every time at the start.
Yeah.
Because why?
So just so guys to let you know, we do stop this video periodically to make comments on it. I hope that YouTube does not shut us down, because they sometimes do shut us down when we're listening to music live.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that we can play through this. If not, it's being recorded, so that way we'll
get it out.
We can go back.
Yeah,
but
circumvent the.
But yeah,
system.
we do stop the music periodically
to comment and share our thoughts. So, and then share your thoughts too.
Yeah,
get in. If you want to listen to the whole video, then go listen to the whole video. If you want to come and hang out, come hang out.
Yeah, we're just drinking some coffee on a Saturday. Feeling
Anybody else need
good.
that afternoon coffee hit?
Yeah. Here we go.
After men's group.
That guy kind of reminds me of the guy from Ricky Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
You know the
one.
That,
well, what I was going to comment and say is what is so funny, and I've had those experiences, with people that speak that way, which is great. And you're spending half your brain energy trying to like form the real words of what they're saying. It's like, and the other part is they have like so much dip in their mouth, which contributes to. I mean, look at me. I'm just telling you. I'm like, really? There's people that still dipping. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So, well, and then, I don't know if you guys saw the press conference for Trump.
Okay.
And then they had some lady from another country, and she was asking a question, and he's like, "You have a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. I don't understand a word you're saying." He just went. Right, he just moved on.
They mean well. You want to give him a hug? I have no clue. You could have just cussed me out. And I have
beautiful
no idea.
Voice. Yeah. Beautiful voice. I have no idea what you're saying.
That's great.
Okay,
straight truth.
Let's pull this up and let's press play.
Believe it. Yeah.
See? Get that dip in there.
I've spent plenty of moonlight nights slinging hell in a gutter, and skin a buck with one hand, clean a bluegill with the other. There's a coating of neat, strong, lonely bottle of beer. I'm a willing volunteer. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Half mud blood, half mule kick whiskey, feeling right at home when it all goes.
Go ahead. Speak on it.
I mean, we were watching a little bit earlier, and like obviously Billy, the hills come with me, so hillbilly. Little mud on the tire, right? Mentioned being the mud, and then like the whiskey. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, the moonshine. So my origins are out of through West Virginia, dirt floors of West Virginia. That's where my grandfather, comes from. I get a lot of my genetics from him. So we've been back to hang out in West Virginia. You drive through those hills and stuff. It's just like, this stuff is real. It's real, which is great. I mean, they're good people. So it's like, they're good people everywhere. So the stuff you talk about, you're like, that's part of the culture, man. That's what it is. It's like, go, win in Rome, be in Rome.
Yeah. And talking about moonshine, even though I'm Mexican, I have Italian in me. My grandpa was Italian, half Italian, half Mexican. And he came from Texas. And back in the moonshine days, he used to make moonshine in the tub and then they would pour it in these 7-Up bottles or Sprite bottles and then pay off the police with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of cool.
My brother-in-law, they had made some moonshine. It's good. So.
Have you guys ever tried moonshine?
There we go. Yeah. Give us your thoughts.
I don't drink.
And if you make it, put it out there, let us know. Just and have some for the cops when they come and find you.
Yeah. There you go. Here we go.
Share a lot.
I'm digging this tune.
Come with me, half mud, blood, half mule kick, whiskey, feeling right at home when it all goes south. Chevy truck running my mouth, got a strong southern drawl. I'm a fool, cannonball in a kiddie pool, kind as the day is long. Fighting with a fist full of fire on a hot fence fire, light right down to the bone. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me.
Okay.
Doggone it.
Doggone it. If you're watching this in the middle of America, you've driven past this scene right here. You know it. And the reason I say that is my in-laws have 50 years ago when they just first got married, had no money. They got in on a timeshare in the middle of Arkansas. It's this big man-made lake. And to get there is like 2.5 hours of the windiest back hill country road to get to this place. It is the worst driving. But like you're passing, this is a middle America.
Yeah.
You're passing this all the time. And I'm the type of guy, like we used to do Sunday driving through Michigan when I was a kid. And so I believe that Stephen Wilson Jr. is from there. So it's like, I'm used to just looking out the window and just watching the world go by. And it's like, this is exactly what you see. Like burnt out stuff, just tons. Like, why does that person have a tractor and 4 cars and like live in a shack? Like, if you'd sell a couple of those, fix one of them up, you could probably get a nice house.
Yeah.
But it's like that's just the way it is, Like, all right, no judgment. My house is kind of trash, so
they can call you Billy, but the hills come with it.
No, from middle of India, northern Indiana. I don't know what to tell you. I don't like cold anymore, so that's why I came to Arizona. Hang out with my man Jacob.
Weather is beautiful right now.
It's amazing
in our backyard of Arizona.
That's right. No rain.
Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Collard green, cast iron, cornbread, pig on a griddle. Out in the back is a soundtrack stacked with a fiddle. With words stretched wide as a tandem mountain line high. Spoke slow and deeply fried. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Half mud, blood, half mule kick, whiskey. Feeling right at home when it all goes south. Chevy truck running my mouth, got a strong southern drawl. I'm a fool, cannonball in a kiddie pool, kind as the day is long. Fighting with a fist full of fire on a hot fence fire, light right down to the bone. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Hey!
I got one for you.
Go for it.
So I went to Purdue University, which is in the middle of Indiana, and one of the big parties that we would have would be called a barn dance. And we would go to somebody's like barn in the middle of the country somewhere. We would get on a bus from campus and go to this barn, and you would dress as hillbilly as you possibly could, like overalls, flannel shirt. you know, if you had one of those, like a cap like this, but it would say like tobacco or like, you know, what if skull across the front, right? Which half of them already had because they're from, you know, this culture. So, you know, and that you would just go out there and you would just like embody, you know, this hillbilly lifestyle and the fun of it, like fireballs and, you know, Pabst Blue Ribbon and all that stuff and Old Mill. And it's just, you know, it was just kind of fun. But I remember when I started working, the first job I had was a public accountant, and we had the client Philip Morrison, and we had to go to the middle of Kentucky to this, you know, center where they would bring the tobacco in. Yeah. And I mean, like, these are the people you're talking. I'm like, you're this like accountant in a suit, like that's just, you know, checking the numbers, make sure that everything's coming in right. And this is America. Yeah. And like for me, it's like I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I used to work with these people and hang out with them and I went to school with them, so I'm like, it was fine. But I just, you know, look like this corporate dude. But you know, the best was like I remember I was like, can I get one of those cool, you know, tobacco hats? Yeah, because I know if I go back to this a party, I'm like, this hat I'm gonna wear is gonna be like pure genuine gold. And it's just this stuff right here, and just I'm like, I just have such appreciation for it. So
heck yeah. All right, let's go back.
Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Hey! Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Call me Billy, but the hills come with me.
Yes.
Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Half mud, blood, half mule kick, whiskey. Feeling right at home when it all goes south. Chevy truck running my mouth, got a strong southern drawl. I'm a fool cannonball. Fistful of fire out of hot fence wire, light right down to the bone. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Hey! Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Hey! Yeah, you can call me Billy, you can call me Billy, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. You can call me Billy, you can call me Billy. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with
me.
Yeah. Man, that guitar has a sound to it. Nothing is well worn.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
You know, that adds to the flavor of this music of his particular song.
Oh yeah, I think I was listening to one of his talks back at live with the print shop, and he was saying he has that same guitar that he plays every night that he does a concert, and he says he looks down at the floor and there's just the wood shreds.
Yeah,
of
right.
his
You can
guitar.
see it if you're paying attention. It's not like this brand new, like, you know, high end guitar. Like this is like my, you know, the OG car. And
he's like, I'm killing it with this guitar.
But it's interesting because like that adds to the essence of his music. Like if you gave him a brand new guitar, you would actually be taking away from his genuine, authentic sound.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
They just got to refurbish it.
Don't touch that guitar.
As long as it holds the strings together.
Exactly. As long as it holds it together, right?
Well, we got 7 people watching.
Hey.
Thank you guys for clicking on today's video. We are live going through Steven Wilson Jr. And you guys can leave a comment and we can read that real time. And we'll give you guys some shout outs there for those who are jumping on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And so we are going to do the next song.
Well, I got something for you. One, if you're jumping on and you just got here, please share where you're coming in from. Does this resonate with you? This was kind of a fun song, Billy.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you've driven through Middle America and Arkansas and Missouri and Indiana and all that stuff. But you shared with me earlier, before we jump into the next song, an interesting story about this man who, when you look at him, it doesn't look like that. But then if you put a lab coat on this guy, like, oh, I can see this.
Yeah. So earlier I was telling, because I've been really interested with Steven Wilson Jr. and I found out that he was an actual scientist. Like, he's a smart dude and went to school and got his education and was working as a scientist. If you guys know the story, you know, leave some comments in the comment section. But there was a phrase that he said that there was a moment in his career where he knew that they were about to put the golden shackles on him.
Okay.
Because he was going to start breaking into a bigger tax bracket with his income. But he knew that if he took it, he had been locked in. And most people that got to that position end up becoming lifers in his career because the money's too good and they don't want to walk away. But he was making music. He loved music. And so he had to make a decision, you know, do I continue with this great income and profession for the rest of my life, or do I follow my passion? And thankfully, you know, for all of us, he followed his passion and it actually worked out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that it doesn't work out.
Sure.
Because they don't have it. They believe they're talented. But the economy and the public will let you know real quick if you're not.
Well, I think what is interesting is and does that resonate with anybody here? Because that resonated with me. Yeah. You know, you can either continue with this, you get locked in, and it's almost like a prison sentence. And the interesting thing is a lot comes up for me because 11 years ago last month, I had that moment of breaking where I'm just like, man, I did everything right and everything is going wrong. Is a statement that's coming. It's like, I went to school, I got the good grades, I got the good job, I got the girl, I got the house, I got the corporate job, and it was just soul sucking. Like, I was never that successful. I didn't have the joy. Like, and I'm not saying that, like, you know, everything is supposed to be great, and when you're working, that everything is supposed to be wonderful, and you're supposed to feel great every day and go in with all this fire, and you never just go through a period of grind. No, there's going to be grind no matter what you do, and there's going to be times in life where you got to just grind it out and just do whatever you got to do. Yeah. But should that be the way it is? Should you be in a prison sentence for 40 years and then get released like, you know, Brooks and Red from Shawshank Redemption, and then here you go, you know, in the last snippets of your life as a broken, you know, human being, you know, go off into the desert and, you know, just wander away? Or have you been given great gifts, and have you been here? Are you here to do something amazing with those gifts and bless the socks off of people by doing what you love to do, by doing what fills you up and it fires you up, and then what also blesses the heck out of others? And you're like, man, how could I do that again tomorrow? Yeah. And then I can't even go to sleep, even though I'm exhausted, because, man, I got this great idea for what I want to do next with my work. Yeah. And then therefore, you know, do you know where the richest plot of land is?
No.
It's the graveyard.
Oh.
So
I'm thinking
Les Brown.
I'm thinking somewhere in the United States. Where's the richest?
Like, wow, there's like a gold mine out here in the Grand Canyon that they're hiding from us.
You're like right in your backyard.
Yeah. But Les Brown had this great comment and said, and that's exactly what he said. And he goes, so many of the greatest novels and inventions and songs and books and just everything was kept inside a person and taken to the grave, right? And it says that in the book here, it talks about the parable of the talents, right? This man was given 5 talents. He went out and made 5 more. Well done, good and faithful servant. This man was given 3, made 3 more. Well done, good and faithful servant. Oh, sir, I heard you were a harsh master. I buried this in the ground. Yeah. What does he say?
Yeah. What he called him? We condemned him. Yeah, wicked.
And he takes his gift, gives it to the one with 10, and condemns him. Yeah. So you have been given great gifts, just like Steven Wilson Jr. And at some point in time, the devil is going to try to put the golden handcuffs on you
Ooh.
Do you want to go to his prison, or do you want to use your great gifts? And it might be a step of faith.
Yeah.
And it might take you through some of the valleys, and you might have to hold on to the word to get through it. Am I preaching to anybody? Am I talking to anybody? Am I talking to myself? And he will see you through it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be things you need to learn in that time, and you need to be, you need to grow up, and you need to be humble, and you need to get a team around you, and you need to get people to help you through it.
Yeah.
But you've been given great gifts to do great things for the Lord and for the world in service to others. And if you don't understand that, let this be the first piece of information, because that's what I had to go through too.
Yeah.
You've been given great gifts, great talents. You've been given a passion in an area of joy in your heart that you need to go and serve in that area. And there are people that it's not about, the gifts aren't for you.
Yeah.
It's not about, I want to get the cars, I want to get the, the stuff in the house and all this. It's to be given to others. And then when you give, more blessed is the giver than the receiver, you will receive back. And then you can get all those great, wonderful things too. And there's a way to create value out of that, right?
Yeah.
There's a way to take, like what you love to do. Like if you love making cars, like, man, you could be one of the best people that's doing cars. Oh, and then you could maybe, create a YouTube channel on that and get connected with Jacob, or you can, create a brand, or, there's all kinds of things that you can derive streams of income from that, especially nowadays with the internet. So
talking about streams of income, now is the perfect time to talk about our sponsors. If you're joining us, thank you for joining us live today. We are sponsored by Ignite Fire. That's us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. And if you want to give, you can go ahead and donate at www.ignitefire.org, and you can choose to support this channel. We thank you.
That was perfect. Well done. If you cut, clip, post that once a week.
And then also, I want to give a shout out to Scott from WYC. He says, thanks for the Steven Wilson Jr. fix. He is a great artist. Glad you found and appreciate him. Thank you, Scott, for jumping on and leaving a comment. And if anyone else is out there watching, go ahead and leave a comment, and we will give you a shout out. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad I could read that because I don't have my glasses on today.
Yeah, well, we know you can't read it because it says WYO, not WYC.
Oh.
Seeing eye test right there. And that's the one that gets me. Is like, D? Wrong.
I should probably say I got my glasses. If you didn't notice, I got the biggest, nerdiest glasses I could find. And
come on
didn't
now.
put them on
This
today.
man looks good in like everything. He can like throw on whatever.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Style. I recognize because I don't got it.
Okay. All right. So we got our next song. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. The next song is going to be.
I know what it is. Billy, don't you lose that number. Because you're not. See, child of the 80s. Sitting at the pool on U93 in Zoppin, Indiana, listening to that song. What song is that? That is the one that kept bringing to my head the whole time. You kept mentioning the name Billy.
Oh, okay.
That's a song from the 80s.
And the next one was Grief.
All right, so we're gonna change it up a little bit here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna shift the mood in the room. We're gonna get a little real. And Jacob is a fun guy, but Jacob is also a real guy who's seen some stuff. And if you go back to some of our other episodes that we've done, we've really hit some tough topics, and I think that needs to be addressed. And so I don't know this song either. When you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, we need to play this one because I was on a call with a gentleman earlier today, and he was talking about how he had dealt with significant grief in his family from losing a brother to drowning, and then he had lost a son to having to bury a child. A good friend of mine, Aaron Hoffman, had lost his wife a couple years ago, and he's a worship leader out of Las Vegas, and he has now created a coaching ministry around grief, and the amount of people that don't know what to do with grief and struggle with it and carry it and hold it inside is significant. Thankfully, he's the type of guy, he's kind of one of those social people. So, and he's in the church, so he was surrounded by great, just great resources and tools that he leaned into, and it helped him through it. And the beautiful part is now he's using that pain and suffering to help others. Yeah. And so I feel like this is a topic where if you're dealing with grief and you are suffering because of loss of, somebody or a family member or a loved one, or even, a job can cause a lot of grief, or a thing. Yeah.
Or even a wife or kids.
Right.
Causing grief.
But if that's you, reach out, and I would definitely love to get you connected with my friend Aaron or others. He's been able to help so many people who are like, I haven't talked about this with anybody. I heard your story and it helped me, and I know there's others that are out there that are available.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And let's see here.
So I don't know where the song's going to go. It could be about like, good grief and Charlie Brown, but I have a feeling it's going to get deep here.
I haven't heard the song, so I don't know. I think I played, it was like actually 18 seconds of it. Just clicking on it on this for this video today, but I don't know what he's going to be talking about. And then, for those who don't know, I am more of the tell it like it is kind of guy. Even if it feels like a wet dish rag to the face, it stings for a minute, but I'm going to say it. Jeff is the opposite. Jeff will ease you into it and be more gentle with you. And so we have two different perspectives from the Ignite Fire Studio. So
for today's episode,
yeah. So with grief, like I was doing I was asked to speak at a funeral of a wonderful man named Bill Stewart. And he was on the podcast, Vietnam War veteran, amazing guy, and impacted so many people. And we went to the funeral, and there was light moments. There was laughter, a lot of crying, and I didn't think I was going to cry. I honestly, I'm not very emotional. The only time I get emotional
what are you
is
talking about?
during Disney movies.
Or a
I
political
will
conversation
cry during a Disney movie. And so I get there, and other people are crying and all this stuff, and I'm getting everybody hugs and seeing people I hadn't seen forever, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Okay, I'm gonna be able to get up there and talk, and we're gonna be good. Soon as his family gets up and his oldest son gets up there, just starts crying. I don't know what happened to me, but just it welled up inside, and I'm full of tears and crying. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go up there, and I got to blow my nose. This is embarrassing. But no, it was a beautiful ceremony. I got to get up there and share my experience with this man and all the people that he has impacted. But I think one thing that we desire is that person's presence. Because we care for them, we love them. But if they are no longer here, we miss them. But because we're people of faith, they're in a better place. They're in the arms of a loving God, and they're having a better time than we are.
Oh, yeah.
We just miss them.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it's kind of like what you shared about in your testimonies. And if you all haven't seen that, go back and watch Jacob's testimony, which I think is November, December 2023. And I believe it's the light that they brought into our life. In your testimony, you shared how Jesus told you, those are my children, and those lights on that earth are my children. They can't hear me. I'm calling to them, but they can hear you. And so, you miss the ones that you love. And, it's what you're missing, what you heard is that impact that they had on you. And there's a special loving impact. Right? Think about it. If your enemy dies or goes away, you're like, oh, thank goodness. Right? But if your friend or the loved one passes, you're like, oh, man, I miss my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm sad.
Of course. And just a cool thing before we start this next Stephen Wilson Jr. Grief is Only Love. We don't know the lyrics. We don't know, what it's going to talk about. But if you're struggling, leave a comment. And we're a faith-based channel.
Amen.
Here. We talk a lot where nothing's off the table. We'll talk about sex. We'll talk about marriage. We'll talk about
money.
We'll talk about
religion, work.
Whatever. But we do also pray for people that really need some prayer.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that had commented on one of our old reactions, and we had mentioned, hey, we'll pray for you if you're struggling. Just leave a comment. And he left a comment about his mom. We prayed for her, and he said, thank you so much for the prayers. We got back the report from the doctors. She was going through chemo and stuff like that, and she is no longer is battling cancer.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he said, thank you guys for the prayer.
Amen.
And so, we believe in health and wealth and prosperity.
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We believe in
Clear
winning.
mind.
We believe in winning. That's why we have a Trump flag. Because you just can't stop winning.
The truth will prevail.
Yeah.
It overcomes the darkness.
So here we go. We're going to now play Grief is Only Love. Here we go. For those who are watching for the first time and you don't know what we do here, we do stop the video periodically to talk about it. If you want to watch the video, there is a link to the actual video so you can watch it without any interruptions. But this is a reaction channel. So we are going to stop it and talk about it.
Fair warning for the 15, 13 people that are watching us. And and we like to do that right at the start of every video just because we're about to get into it. We're like, wait. And it's like when you sit down to eat and you take your first bite and someone's like, okay, let's pray. And like you have the food in your mouth.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
I'm hungry.
And you can leave a comment and we'll read it since we're live. Here we go.
Life is a battlefield, and it'll drag you right through hell. Bites like a rattlesnake, the kind that you just don't see on the trail. And I miss my father every day. The kind of pain I pray don't fade away. And the ones above guide me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. From my great granddad in the ground to all the ghosts in my hometown, yeah, they're the ones that find me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is on.
Okay, so the title is just half of the full lyric. Grief is only love that has nowhere to go. Whoa. Now, what's going on with you? What are you feeling?
Why are you turning it around on me?
Well, I just saw that it hit you, you know. So I wanted to know what your thoughts were.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because of what you shared on the last one.
Oh, with the golden shackles?
Nope. On the last episode you did with Victoria, when you guys watched this.
The lyrics pulling something out of you?
What you shared about what's going on in your family.
Oh, with my dad. Yeah. My dad, for those who don't know, is he got a challenging report on his health. And when he was younger, he used to work in doing the insulation in houses as a side job, I think, or a part-time job. And he got asbestos in his lungs. And then on top of that, he was a smoker. And so that just really, really destroyed his lungs. And he's in his 60s. He weighs about 96 pounds and got a report that doesn't have too long to live based on the report. Now, he looks good right now. You could tell that he struggles with breathing and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a little sad. But it's kind of like this last funeral. Like I didn't think it fazed me until the moment of truth. So I don't feel like the emotional weight of it until probably later on, you know?
So what hit me was that first lyric, and knowing that what you had shared and you being my friend and caring so much about you because you're so heartfelt and such a joyful guy, but you're also real and you also care deeply for people.
Yeah.
You know, so this might be a challenging situation for you because you're losing your father, who I know that you guys have been on a journey in your life with. And that, you know, that's tough when it comes to an end and you realize like, I got so much time left with this person. We've been through the ringer. You know, he's been my father. He's been my enemy. He's been, you know, a man that has, you know, been the root of the separation of a family, a broken home. But then I've come over the top in my own healing. And then it's the biblical story, right? The son comes to save the father.
Yeah.
Jesus comes to redeem Adam.
Yeah.
And the sin that he did. And it's like, that's the Pinocchio story too. So, you know, it's like you are the son that, you know, maybe helped him through that. And that gives that such a deeper relationship. And you can watch that in like the movie Field of Dreams, right? If you don't cry at Field of Dreams, then there's a hardened heart or something's going on there.
Yeah.
So when that revealed as the rest of the lyric, I'm just like, oh man, my friend Jacob here is has that situation. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, and it's because and it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamics between my father and I, because he believed that he heard from the Lord not to talk to anybody for years. And so I had lost contact of him for like 4 or 5 years. So I hadn't talked to him in 4 or 5 years, and or even longer. I'm not sure how long it's been, but then he finally comes out of hiding and then gives us this news. So it was kind of like, hey, there was already this absence of him. You know what I mean? We kind of moved on. But I've always loved my dad. I was never mad at him for it.
Good.
Which is great. And but then when I look at his life and stuff, I just, I look at his life and just am like, dang, was there things that you wanted to do that you didn't do? And if you want to do some things, let's try to get them done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so spending that time with them. And what's crazy is it's the amazing lyrics of Stephen Wilson Jr. But the amazing thing about songs is they can pull out these emotions, right? I see my dad. I hadn't seen him in all these years. He looks great. We know the diagnosis. I'm driving home, and I don't know if you guys know that YouTube listens to you. Social media, China,
Dun, dun, dun.
They're watching us.
Always listening.
This song pops up on YouTube, and it's I think it's called Monsters, and it's the guy singing about his father dying, and he says, "I'm not your son, you're not my father." And you would think like, oh, he's saying, I reject you, but the lyrics is, "I'm not your son, you're not my father. We're just two grown men saying goodbye."
Man.
And I'm like, what the?
Wow.
Why would this come on now? And I just start crying.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's okay, Dad. Close your eyes. I'll leave the light on. It's my turn to chase the monsters away.
Wow. Holy cow.
And talk about lyrics,
It's good.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back.
Good, yep. I mean, I would just encourage you, I would, you can wait for the moment of truth, but I would encourage you to start, to have those conversations. I had a client who her mom had, fallen, and it was one of those falls late in life where it's like the end is near.
Yeah.
And so we spent a few months, having that conversation and preparing and talking about, looking ahead to what that's going to look like and what life is going to most likely be like. And she has been able to walk through this season with the status of her mom in such a great, more grace-filled, stronger way, because we have already, I've already, helped guide her down the emotional path of what is it going to look like if this happens, and what is it going to look like if this stays this way, if it goes this direction. And she was able to, express those emotions. So now she's already felt a lot of those emotions.
Yeah.
And she knows what to do, because here's the thing: somebody's going to have to be strong enough and sound mind enough to be able to guide everyone else through. And thankfully, she knows the Lord, so she knows where her mom is going, and she knows that she'll get through this with God.
Yeah.
But she might have to be the strong one. That does it. So
yeah. All right, back to Stephen Wilson Jr. Grief is only love, and then we just realized that's half the lyric, because grief is only love that has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
The ones that find me down the road, yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. Hey! The world is a cannonball, yeah. So deal with the feelings you can't hide. God gave us alcohol when we need to leave them all inside. And I don't feel like crying, but I just keep crying for the ones is only love that's got no place to go. From my great granddad in the ground to all the ghosts in my hometown, yeah, they're the ones that find me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. Grief is only love. Grief is only love. Guide me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. So hang on to the hurting and let it grab a hold. And the only thing for certain is it's out of my control. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Yeah, grief is only love. Grief is only love, yeah. Grief is only love, yeah, yeah, yeah. Grief is only love.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. That was emotional.
Yeah. What are you feeling? When you say emotional, what do you mean?
Well, just the his lyrics, like I said, we he talked a lot of different things. Like one of them was love is only, or grief is only love that has nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like crying. I don't feel like crying,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't stop
Mm-hmm.
crying.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. And then also, the alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
being an ex-alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, it numbs the pain,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all it does.
Yeah.
It just numbs the pain. The pain's still there,
Right. Right.
So there's this all this water that's held back by this dam,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really unhealthy
Mm-hmm.
to keep all those emotions locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And that dam needs to break to release all of that.
And who's holding the dam in place?
We are.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we hold the key.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the story about the monkey.
Yep.
Have you heard about the monkey?
Yep.
If you guys haven't heard of the story about the monkey, is there's a jar with, I guess, a piece of fruit in the jar, and the monkey sticks his hand in there, grabs the fruit, but now he's stuck in the jar
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't want to let go
Yeah.
of the fruit. And I talk about emotions, for those who know, it makes it sound like I believe that emotions are not good,
Mm-hmm.
but emotions are meant to be felt, not held on to.
Correct.
Not like the monkey holding on to the fruit.
Yeah.
And they come and they go. We feel them, but we don't hold on to them. And when that happens, is just like the monkey that holds on to the fruit. Now he's trapped.
Yep.
And when the hunter comes, he's like, oh, we don't even have to do it. We got him. Let's throw the net on him. And I think that's what happens to us emotionally. And we have to learn to break the dam and let go of that.
You made the right statement in saying that we're the ones that hold up the dam. Why are you holding up the dam?
Tell us.
You answer the question. Why are you holding up the dam?
I think we hold on to our emotions because there was a saying that they used to say in Alcoholics Anonymous that if you knew better, you would do better, you know?
Maybe.
And a lot of us don't know how to open the door that's locked.
Well, there's, one is knowing. So you know what to do. What's the second part?
Doing it.
Okay, so why wouldn't you? Why are you holding up the dam versus allowing the emotions to come through?
I think it's kind of like another illustration that I like to give.
Go for it.
There's a man. We're talking about country music now. Now here's an old man sitting on his rocker out in the front porch, and next to him is his dog, and the dog's whining and crying. And here comes a unsuspecting neighbor just walking down, and he stops. He hears the dog just whining and crying, and he tells the guy, he goes, "Why is your dog crying?" He says, "Oh, he's sleeping on a nail." And the guy says, "Why doesn't he move?" And he's like, "Oh, it doesn't hurt bad enough yet." So I think we get comfortable. At least I'll speak for myself. I get comfortable, and it doesn't hurt bad enough to move yet.
Okay.
Like with my alcoholism, I was holding on to this thing, and then I realized when I let go, I couldn't let go, and it was comfortable where I was at.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Until I couldn't stand it anymore. Then I got up off the nail. Well, and so I need some help.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the other thing: why don't guys let their emotions go and share their emotions?
What? I don't think it's always best.
I'm just saying, using this example,
for guys. Well, there's some pride, obviously, and those are other emotions and thought patterns, and guys don't cry. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Because why? Why don't guys cry? Why don't we show each other we're crying?
It looks like weakness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Maybe.
Looking weak.
Yeah. And men shouldn't be vulnerable like that.
Well, and so then if you do that, if you think, oh, I'm showing weakness or I'm being vulnerable, are you really being weak and showing vulnerability?
Depends.
You're right.
I think it really does depend. So
there's a
guys,
double-edged sword too.
Yeah, because I remember. No, this is seared in my mind and in memory. There was this relation. Okay, one of my good friends growing up in high school, her sister was dating this guy. Okay. Now we're gonna get into it. She was dating this guy. One day he comes over and they go into the room. We're all in the living room. And then 30 minutes later, he comes out. And then he leaves. And she comes back and says, "Don't ever cry in front of your girlfriends like that." And the guy she was breaking up with him. And he was sobbing, like baby crying, like uncontrollably crying. She goes, "I can never respect him again."
Interesting.
And I realized there is some truth to that. So I think other men sharing their emotions and feelings with other men in a purpose to open that door and work some things out and get through it to become stronger, I think that's a great place to be. Dumping on your wife or your girlfriend and uncontrollably, I don't think that's a good place to be, because there's a level of, because what I believe there's certain things that women need. Okay. And one of those is safety, security, leadership, and then if you're crying and unloading all the time on her,
there you go.
All of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did I marry a man or am I marrying a baby?
Is this person broken and they can't even pull it together?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which then they need help. So you hit both ends of the spectrum here, which is great. So, guys, if there's anything that you've experienced with grief, please share it. That has been helpful for you. And then that other aspect is, and we see this a lot in our men's group, guys are putting up this huge front and they don't want to show any weakness. So they just keep it held back. And that ends up and water's, just like we know, water's going to find a way. It's not going to stop moving or wanting to move. So you're either going to learn how to, in a healthy, strong, appropriate way and timely way, allow this, release the dam in the right environments, right? Like maybe not, during, certain situations, but it needs to be released and need to be strong in that. And then two, allow that healing process to occur, have those right people around you that can help you through, because you don't want it to become the identity.
Yeah.
Right. That isn't the identity in Christ. But, so many guys like, oh, well, I'm never showing any weakness. I'm never going to cry in front of anybody ever, ever, ever. And it's like, well, actually, showing vulnerability and being able to show that you can comfortably have all the emotions is actually strength, because then it allows others to do that too, because they're struggling and maybe they need to talk about it, but they haven't found anybody that they can trust and be real in front of.
Yeah.
And so then therefore it's like, oh, I can actually talk to this person about real stuff, and I can share this, and I can actually move it. So then I don't have to carry this heavy burden or this weight inside of me, and using my energy and strength to hold on to this. And now it's causing me to lash out others and act sinfully and be, in a sense, heavy burden, heavy laden.
Yeah.
Because you can only carry so much as a human being. So being able to open up and share is, I think, a very healthy and strong thing. And then learning what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. In the middle of the battle, maybe not.
Yeah,
We're not going to sit there and fall crying while bullets are still flying and other people are need to be protected. But hey, once the battle's over, it's like, okay, I need to process this. I need to get it out, and I need to do that with somebody who, to have brothers or sisters or family members or professionals that you can go to and have that. It's going to be very healthy and strong, so that you can, okay, I got through it, and guess what? I could probably help others get through it too. Because they're probably trapped and stuck in that same thing. And the one thing anything else you want to say before I pontificate on this next part?
I just want to give a shout out to Kurt. He said someone is always crying. Men just pay to do it. And I coming back to the emotions and all of this stuff, right? Which this is a very emotional song. "Grief is Only Love That Has No Place to Go" from Stephen Wilson Jr. There's a funny saying that I always say, and I quote it from the greatest movie that growing up I'd ever seen was Sandlot.
Yes,
and one of the sayings is, "You wouldn't have thought that." Oh man, now I'm messing up. Wah, 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 wah. If you weren't thinking, you wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, interesting.
That's the saying. And what's interesting is nothing is good or bad. We make it so. And so whatever we're focusing on, whatever we're thinking about, intensifies.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying just to push things aside or get rid of them, because then that dam is still there, but to process it and then to move on. We don't need to continue to keep thinking things. There's times where people who are clinically depressed, right? And they want to go get a medication. And I'm not an advocate against medication. If you need it, you need it. But here's the thing. It's not going to stop you from thinking the thoughts that you're thinking. Yeah. It's going to numb you, right? But if you don't take care of the issue of the thoughts, then you're still trapped. Yeah. And now you're just taking a medication that's going to numb you. So I was listening to another public speaker, motivational speaker, and he's talking about ulcers. Now we're not talking about all ulcers, but he was talking about a majority of ulcers are created in the body based on worry, anxiety, and fear. It's an anger. And he says all these emotions start to disrupt the body, right? And he said there's no medication that can treat it, but to reverse it is to stop thinking the thoughts that created the emotions that are affecting your body. And so it comes back to the thought process. Why am I? And if you think about it, there are people that are always negative. There are always people that see the glass half empty, and they're always complaining. And it's a thought process. How many people do you guys know that are always thinking negative, and their life is not always the greatest? I wonder if there's something to that. But then you got people that are positive and always thinking the glass is half full, and they have an attitude of gratitude, and they're always elevating everything.
It's that stinking thinking. So
it's that stinking thinking.
So here's the key. The word emotion is emotion. Motion is move. Is feeling.
Feel and move.
The feelings have to move. And if they don't, they get stuck. What happens if water stays stuck?
It gets nasty.
It starts to rot. It starts to cause disease or dis-ease.
Yeah.
Notice the emotions did the same thing. They created ulcers. They created all these other problems. They're stuck in the person because they don't know how to put words to them, and they don't have a safe environment where they can go and process the emotion and share the emotion and allow it to move and allow the full healing to come on. Because, that is one of the key problems is like this poison or this, feeling that isn't, that this feeling stays stuck inside of you.
Yeah.
And so, so I think, the sad.
So some people need an emotional enema.
I mean, it's got to come out one way or the other. So, so therefore, and that was my only. My heart goes out to Stephen Wilson Jr. because he sings this place from a place of real, and how he feels, and in that sense of like, was he not like so many of us not shown and modeled how to move all of your emotions, including the difficult ones, in a healthy way, and being able to put words to them. So this emotion is melancholy. This emotion is mournful. This emotion is anger. This emotion is hurt. And be able to then have that conversation. What's bothering you? What's like this? And then notice when you move the emotion, then, man, I feel better after I talked about it. Like I get it now, right?
Yeah.
And so I understand it. And so now it's like, okay, I feel better. And you just, it's like when you get like a cut or something like that on your arm, right? And your cut, if you keep opening it back up, it's still going to keep hurting.
Yeah.
But if it heals, like, the scars on my arm, then I can touch it and it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing, like that experience doesn't hurt me anymore. I can touch it, maybe I can talk about it. And maybe it does hurt, but it's like I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It hurts and it's okay that it hurts. But
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not controlling me anymore.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I like about Stephen Wilson Jr. is I love the fact that he can take his emotions and the things he's gone through and put it to pen and paper.
Yeah. And
that is a
to
way
music.
of releasing
Right.
those emotions.
Right.
And how many those who are watching right now can listen to a Stephen Wilson Jr. song and process through that because he's hitting that place.
Correct.
Within that person's emotional makeup, and it's like this release, and music helps us to get rid of some stuff, and it opens us up to the emotions we didn't know that we had.
It can touch places that words can't. And I share this with a buddy, Zachary Bruno, who's a great pianist here and a Christian worship leader in the Valley. And I told him his value is going to be his ability to go in and play songs that touch people's hearts and emotional places that they have never felt and been able to put into words, but that music helps them process and release that emotion, and it comes out in in just a noise as well, right? It's like it says that sometimes we're going to pray, and the Holy Spirit's just going to pray for us, and it's going to pray in grumblings and noises that aren't even prayers, but they are, right? And so that we can process these emotions, and that's the only thing with when Stephen Wilson Jr. says that it's got no place to go. Well, it does, and actually it should go, because here's the thing: like the song title is what?
Grief is only love.
Only love. Okay. Where does love come from?
Well, that's another topic of discussion.
Well, so where is the source of love?
From God.
That's right. So where should it go back to?
God.
That's right. So it should be a cyclical, evolving, revolving process. You don't want to get in the way of it. You want to be a steward. You want to be a vessel of it so that it can go back up to him and come back down. And so, it's like it goes to him, it goes to God, and it can go to his other, your fellow brothers and sisters around you, so that it goes through this process, right? And you allow it to come and it's the greatest thing, right? But it also can create this sense of loss because, there's a loss. But if you know that they've gone back to God, okay, at least I have that hope, right?
Yeah.
And we can be hopeful, right? And then that takes us back to what I opened up to was Ephesians 4:8, right? It says, finally, my brothers, whatever things are true, meditate on these things, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever they are pure, whatever things that are lovely, whatever things are of good rapport, virtue, and if there's any of these, meditate on these things.
Think on them.
Right. So it's like, in a sense, instead of this, you're thinking being stinking, maybe you're thinking it's like, hey, why do I feel so sad? Why am I crying? What's it? Well, I miss my friend, or I miss my dad. Okay, well, why? Well, because I loved him so much. We had such a great time. Or there's things I didn't get to do or say. And it's just like, he was just a very special person to me.
Yeah.
And like that, is that good? That's great.
Yeah.
You know what? And guess what? What? You're going to see him again, right?
Yeah.
You'll see him again.
I was talking about that for a second. So I was sharing at a funeral about 2 weeks ago, and I got up and I saw all these people that I hadn't seen in years, and all these people were coming out to come and pay respect to the man who we were there to honor at the funeral, and I'm looking at all these faces, and I get up to share. And I said, this is how heaven's going to be. We're going to see a bunch of people that we hadn't seen in years. And then we're also going to see some people where we're going to be like, I didn't think you'd be here. And they're going to turn around and say the same thing to you. I didn't think you'd be here.
How'd you get in here?
That's because we serve a loving God.
That's right. Amen. Amen to that.
But I do understand too, you know, we label love and we put love into a bag, shake it up, and we pour it out on all sorts of things. Like, I love my job. I love my dog. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love this. I love that. And really, it's not love that we're talking about. It's how it makes me feel. And it ends up being this selfish thing because it's all about how I perceive what I'm receiving. And going back to the author of love to define what is love. And in the biblical sense, love is patient, love is kind, love is. So if I'm not operating in patience and kindness and believing all things and enduring all things and doesn't think any wrong, if I'm not doing those things, then I'm not really operating in real love. Because love has nothing to do about the other person. It's what I'm giving to them, even if they don't deserve it.
Correct.
And it's forgiving my enemy, even though he's not worth forgiving. It's loving my wife when I don't think she's lovable. It's, forgiving when I don't think they deserve, because it has this release for me, and to honor Pastor Bill, that's who we were at the funeral with. He had described real love in marriage, right? And it goes back to, he says, what did the bride do to Jesus? And the bride slapped him, beat him, ripped his beard. I mean, we're talking abuse. She punished him. She cursed him. She lied on him, And then he said, well, what did Jesus do in response? And he said, Jesus did not open his mouth once to condemn her, to yell at her, to correct her. He said he silently carried her burdens. And he took her punishment. He healed her. He delivered her. He clothed her. And he said, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church.
Yeah, he covered it in love.
And he said, that's the example. And he says, we're empty vessels. And when we get filled with that love and we pour out that love changes the people that are around us. And he said, that's the essence of the gospel.
Amen.
He says, but I'm talking about marriage now. Husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. He's like, can you love your enemy like that?
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Yeah. Can you love Democrats like that? Can you love liberals, Republicans? Can you love Trump like that? I don't know about Biden. Lord Jesus, help me to love him like that. Right. But, going back to it, what's the definition of real love?
Right.
And is it selfish or self-seeking?
Right.
And it comes down to that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and that's it right there. And then your job is to cover them in love.
Yeah.
And then what happens if you need it? Where do you go? You go to the source.
Go to the source.
That's right. And say, all right, you got to do it through me, because I don't know about you, but like someone's got to, I want to wring these kids' neck, but it's like, you're going to have to love them through me. Yeah. My flesh wants other.
Oh, yeah. So good. Guys, before we head off, because we're going to get off this live, for those who are watching, there's a couple on there. The first person to respond and throw the last Steven Wilson Jr. song we should play before we end this broadcast, we will play it before we end today for you. So we are waiting. There are people watching right now. Put down your favorite Steven Wilson Jr. song, and we will play it before we end this broadcast. Do 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 do. So, what do you guys think about Steven Wilson Jr.? Oh, there's our alarm clock. There's our alarm clock. We gotta get off.
Someone get in here. Yeah, you got things going on today.
We got my father-in-law coming over. It's his birthday. We're gonna cook some burgers on this beautiful Saturday in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. And
We got a winner.
Kurt, we're giving
nailed
you
it.
a shout out for responding. You're the first one to respond on here. To play Stand By Me. That's a great song. Let's pull it up. Stand By Me. But yeah, we're gonna have some burgers. It just feels like America is in a wonderful place right now, and the
future looks bright.
The future looks bright. The sun is shining. The stars are bright and big at night.
Now we're in Texas, America's Texas.
Yeah. Here we go. And that was
Stephen Wilson Jr.
Stand By Me by Stephen Wilson Jr. And so the last one we listened to was Stephen Wilson Jr., the Ben E. King cover live from the Print Shop. So that's the one we will play, and then we will end today's broadcast. Thank you guys for jumping on. Leave your comments. This is your Blitz, and we'll see it real time. But let's pull this up. This is Stand By Me. Have you heard this one?
No.
Oh, so Jeff hasn't heard this one. We have done this one with Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe's supposed to come back, and we're supposed to do another.
Excellent.
And we got room in this studio for 2 more people, so we can have like a 4-person setup in here, and we're going to be doing some music just like from the Print Shop. And just a shout out to Live from the Print Shop. I think Adam reached out on one of our last videos and said, you guys are awesome. Thank you for reacting, and we appreciate you guys. We want to keep this channel going. So here we go. Stephen Wilson Jr. Shout out to Kurt. Thank you for mentioning that. And it is Stand By Me, a cover. Before we end this one,
We have to stop in the middle.
yeah, Jeff has to leave.
Yep.
So, Jeff, we love you.
Love you, brother.
And thank
Love
you
you
for
guys.
coming in and jumping in
Yeah.
on the podcast live here at Ignite Fire Studios. And I'm going to end this broadcast with this song. So let's just pull it up. And this is going to take the screen, and we're just going to let this thing play.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back, exit full, and let's pull it up. There we go.
This is a good one. This is a good one to wrap on. Perfect.
And we're just going to let this thing
Perfect
play.
job, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you guys for jumping on. Here we go.
When the night has come, and all the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you ever see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a single tear. Just as long as you, just as long as you stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if that sky that we look upon should ever tumble and fall, and if those mountains they ever crumble into their sea, into their sea, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you, just as long won't you stand by me? Won't you stand by me? Hey, won't you? Hey, won't you? Won't you stand by me?
All right, that was Steven Wilson Jr. live from the print shop. Let me close that out. So Jeff had to leave, but I want to thank you guys for clicking on today's video. Thank you guys that have put the comments in the comment section. Stacy, Kurt, thank you for your super thanks. We appreciate that, or super chat. And I want to thank also Scott from WYO. I didn't have my glasses, so I thought that was a C, but I want to give you guys a shout out and everyone that's watching live with us. Also, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram. You can also follow me on Jacob. It's John Jacob Alvarado on TikTok and Facebook. It is now public, and also Ignite Fire International, where we stream all of this stuff live. We want to keep on getting on here and doing more live stuff, especially with our online community, with artists on here that are worth watching. And we want to continue to promote Steven Wilson Jr., amazing artist. He is the future of country music, I believe. And I don't know, I had mentioned this earlier. There was an award to Beyonce for Country Artist of the Year, and I said that's kind of crazy. She's nothing against her; she's a great singer, but really, the first year jumping in and making a country album and becomes the Country Artist of the Year, I don't know about that. I think there was a lot more other songs that were worth that title, and I think Steven Wilson Jr. is gonna. I'm predicting he is going to be on that stage, and he should be winning some awards for the music that he's bringing to the world. He's changing it up, and I love it. And so, thank you guys for recommending those songs. And if you guys come back on later on and you throw some other songs on there that we could do live, we'll play those also. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, follow us, and if you want to support this channel, you could do so at www.ignitefire.org. There's also other places on there to give to, like building houses in Nicaragua, families in need, and also for this platform, Ignite Fire Media. So I appreciate you guys. And if you guys have any prayer requests, because this is a faith-based channel, we do support those who are leaving comments that need prayer. And, we're living in some crazy times. I believe we're living in good times. The future looks bright. But even though there are people that are struggling with different things, like we just saw with Steven Wilson Jr., grief is only love that has nowhere to go. If you're struggling with something like that, or you just need a prayer to lift you up, leave a comment and let us know what we can pray for, and we will pray for you. So until next time, we love you. God loves you.